Thank you, Honorable Speaker. From the onset, I congratulate the Liaison Committee, and I also support the adoption of the report of the Liaison Committee on the 2025-2026 budget, BPS, budget policy statement report. Honorable Speaker, I will not belabor on what has already been said by my colleagues. I'll just concentrate on a few areas which I think is pertinent to me. Honorable Speaker, I think we need to do some soul searching on the question of how we do our budgeting, just from the budget policy statement all the way to the actual budget that we normally do annually. Honorable Speaker, there are areas which are always a problem. For example, we are having a crisis in the education sector. You know, the university funding model is running through some challenges. We are seeing unions from universities to secondary schools always threatening to go on strike because of the lack of funding for the comprehensive bargaining agreements. We have seen a lot of challenges in infrastructure, for example, in JSS. But every time we come up with a BPS and every time we come up with our budget, we find these areas are not covered adequately. Even in our health sector, we are running through a lot of challenges. The question around SHA, one of the reasons why I'm told SHA is running through the problems it's running through, among many other problems, is the fact that not adequate funding is being provided for SHA. Honorable Speaker, I think we need to review on how we do our budgeting so that we look at some of these critical areas which are always a challenge to our people, especially in the education sector and the health sector, so that we can adequately resource these areas and actually take care of them. Honorable Speaker, electricity, particularly from the region where I come from, is a major thing. As we speak, almost 60% of Mandera County is in darkness because of lack of electricity. The diesel-generated power is no longer sustainable, and it is giving a lot of problems to the people in our region. The biggest town in my constituency, for example, Elwak, where I represent, has been without electricity for the last 6 months. And as we go through Ramadan, there are a lot of challenges for electricity in that area. And yet we are unable to provide electricity for these areas. Honorable Speaker, one area I will also zero in on is the area around low-cost boarding schools. Picture this, Honorable Speaker. We have been giving low-cost boarding schools 400 million per year since 2003. And this is supposed to be for 411,000 students. That is 5 shillings per student per day for 180 days for school calendar year. That is supposed to cover breakfast, dinner, salaries for staff, and support staff, and also beddings and infrastructure like constructing the boarding facilities for those schools. Honorable Speaker, this is very unfortunate because imagine 400 million for low-cost boarding schools since 2003. This is unfortunate, where actually in our prisons, and I take no offense in mentioning this, where in our prisons, our prisoners are given 105 shillings per day for their meals. But for boarding schools, for low-cost boarding schools, our students are only budgeted for 5 shillings per day for 180 calendar days. So, Honorable Speaker, these are some of the areas that we need to look at. And given the theme and the mood in the country right now, as spearheaded by His Excellency President William Ruto, the question around equity, equality, and inclusivity should be reflected in all our processes of budget policy statement and also our main budgets. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.